Hi, Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to episode 340. Coming soon, private listings, the listing wars.
Yeah.
There's some stuff
Data
going on.
wars.
Data wars. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
I feel like I have a disclaimer before we begin.
Oh, please.
Every market is different.
Oh, that's true.
So if we refer to something that our MLS does or what our rules are, we understand that every state and even certain cities within states are different from each other.
Yes.
And so we tried to both keep this pretty broad and researched what's going on just nationally.
Sure.
With what is going on with all of these different statuses.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah. So
can you, let's maybe also give some context for our local market as far as a coming soon, like what we were allowed to do and how that has changed.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
It's newer in our market.
Right.
Coming soon, private exclusives, all those things are very new to our market.
Okay. Previously, the rule was if you took a listing and the document was signed, the listing agreement was signed in our market, you had to have the listing in the MLS within how long?
1 business day.
1 business day.
So NAR, National Association of Realtors, has a clear cooperation policy.
Oh, are you going to read it to
that
me?
They adopted.
Yes.
And if a property is being publicly marketed, it must be submitted to the MLS within 1 business day.
Is that still in place?
As of, yes.
Okay.
That policy, this clear cooperation policy still exists.
Okay.
Now, this doesn't mean you can't put it on you could put it on your private website. You could, but if it is being marketed in a public manner, it needs to be put into the MLS. And that is the clear cooperation policy.
A sign in the yard is considered public.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, I think what I just said about once papers are signed, I was thinking of the clear cooperation policy gives you 1 day to publicly market. In our market, once you sign listing papers, I can't remember.
It was 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, it was quick.
Look, it wasn't a long time.
Right.
Okay, so I don't remember if it was, but now in our market, you are allowed to have a signed listing agreement that is being privately marketed by your
broker. Yes.
Your broker, whatever.
Just your office.
You're not going to get into trouble if you sign a listing agreement and you didn't put it in the MLS.
Correct. And this clear cooperation policy does not prohibit private listings. This is governing marketing behavior.
Yeah.
So it's like if you are trying to market this to the public and you are a realtor, it needs to be in MLS.
Okay.
If you're just marketing it in your office, this policy does not apply to you.
Okay.
So it can get pretty confusing. And then brokerage to brokerage, even in our market.
Yeah.
We have brokers that want to make their listings private exclusive for the first X amount of days, no matter what. And they call that something else. It has their own name within their own brokerage. So we have all these different listing statuses right now.
Okay.
And it is muddying the waters and, causing controversy within the market. And so we just wanted to talk it through in a Hustle Humbly fashion.
Sure. I love it.
Hey, Hustle Humbly community. We've got an update we're really excited about.
Our monthly lives are officially getting a new name. Say hello to the Hustle Humbly Hangout.
And here's what that means. We're stepping away from teaching style classes during our monthly lives because honestly, you already get weekly teachings from us on the podcast.
The Hustle Humbly Hangout is different. This is your time. It's a space to listen in, share what you're working through, and talk about what's feeling tricky in your business right now.
We're brainstorming, problem solving, and working together to come up with ideas and solutions that actually help your business.
So once a month, come hang out with us. Tell us what you've got going on and let's figure it out together.
We can't wait to get to know you the way you already know us.
Not in community? Come join us at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership. Okay, do you want to go over this information about what is that kind of what we've just been through?
Sort of. I mean, The whole point of the MLS and the National Association of Realtors is to prevent a fractured system.
Right.
Where things are just, we're not working together, we're not working cohesively. They wanted everything between the realtors to be streamlined so that the consumer can have a streamlined experience.
Yeah. And that there would be equal access to all consumers.
Correct.
Okay.
So the current debate with all these private listings and coming soon is, who is this actually helping? I remember when I served on the board of directors, I was a younger agent getting into it. And it really opened my eyes because obviously we're all with different companies.
Yeah.
And when you serve at your local board, national board, state board, you basically have to take an oath that says, when you are voting on matters here in this room, you are not voting to what benefits you or your brokerage.
Right.
You are voting on what benefits the realtor profession as a whole.
Okay.
So there were times where I actually voted on things that would give my brokerage less of an advantage in our market.
Okay.
But I knew if it passed, it would be better for the whole.
Okay. Makes sense.
And that's kind of where this is going, is who, and also the real estate commissions are in place, like the Louisiana Real Estate Commission. Their number one goal is to protect the consumer.
Yes. The public.
The public.
Not the realtor or agent.
Correct.
Or broker.
So in today's discussion, everything is going to go back to the consumer and what do they want?
Correct.
So yeah, that's kind of where we're going with this today.
All right. That's fine. Where do you want to start this train? Because I think we have a little backstory. Do you want to just give me the definitions, or we kind of have this figured out now?
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you where I want to start.
Okay, tell me.
You know me, I keep up with the real estate news.
Yes.
Okay, so I read a lot of real estate articles. We haven't actually had an episode like this where I felt like I had to deliver legal information in a year and a half, a couple of years, right?
Like buyer brokerage.
Exactly.
We had to do some of those episodes.
We had to deal with all those, sites are Burnett lawsuit, explaining the lawsuit. What does it mean? Who's this? Who's that? What are we fighting for? What's going to change in the industry? Okay. So we haven't had one of these in a little bit. Now, I also would like to point out, I don't recall when I started in the first several years of the business, there being so many real estate lawsuits of all kinds.
All the things.
Not just one topic, but I'm like, when I was early on in the business, I didn't feel like the industry was constantly under legal attack.
We are in general, I actually read an article about this also, not just real estate. In general, we are in a very litigious climate.
Correct.
Everyone is suing everybody for anything and everything.
I mean, it's just a lot to keep up with. So what we're going to try and do here. So then you hear the same thing buzzing around, and for a while you'll just sort of ignore it, or maybe this doesn't apply to me, or I'll just wait and see what the final result is. Well, the more and more the volume of articles has increased, I'm like, okay, I guess. And then we had an actual MLS change for us where we were like, now we can do coming soon. Now it's a little bit more like, okay, well, let's actually see what's going on out there.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm not going to cover every lawsuit that's currently being...
We don't have time.
No, there's no time. But there is a lawsuit that... We'll start with the lawsuit. That's fine.
Okay.
I know I feel scattered, but it's because it's a lot.
Yeah.
Compass is suing Zillow.
Yes.
Okay? Because Zillow, and again, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not giving legal advice, but I'm giving you the information that I've read about this. Zillow is saying, okay, Compass, you want a private listing network? You can't put those listings onto our feed if you do that. Okay? So they're kind of having this back and forth about it. Then they were like, there was a time frame, you have to have it on the feed within this many days or this and that or whatever. Compass is suing Zillow, not the other way around. Okay. So
Because Compass wants their listings.
They want the private listing. They want to have a private listing network where their listings with no restrictions can be on their private feed for their agents to see and do whatever their marketing system is. And then when it goes public to the MLS, they want it to be pulled to all the websites, including Zillow. They don't want to be punished.
So Compass is not asking for their private listings to be on Zillow.
Not while they're private.
Not while they're private. And I have a good stat about this, actually.
Let's hear it.
But that they do want, once they are public and in the MLS, to be on Zillow.
Right. And Zillow does not want private listings to exist at all because it is a detriment to their business model because Zillow needs the listings in order to get the eyeballs of the consumer.
Correct.
If the consumer discovers that all the listings aren't on Zillow and they also need to go to ABC Realty website, they're going to start, it's going to fracture the amount of people that are just putting all their eggs in that Zillow basket.
Yes.
Right? And then maybe they go to ABC, I'm using an example. Then maybe they go to ABC Real Estate website and they're like, oh, I actually like this one. Or, oh, I found my house here. Or, oh, wow, in my market, there's so many more listings on ABC Real Estate website as opposed to on Zillow. So now I don't trust that as the ultimate source. I have to have another source.
I think you're making a really excellent point here that this effect on the consumer really depends on your marketplace.
Yeah, for sure.
For example, Compass is new in our marketplace.
Right.
We did not have it in our region even.
Yeah.
Until just recently. So the Compass private exclusive listings for our marketplace, no one's looking there.
Right. They're like, what?
Yes. Like even the Compass agents are like, this is all a brand new thing. It's a new system. It's a whole new way of running your business.
Yep.
However, in New York and the states where Compass is well established and has a huge share of the market, those areas are very highly impacted by private exclusives because you really only see those listings if you are from a consumer standpoint. If you are a buyer working with a Compass agent,
right,
you will only know about these houses if you are working with a Compass agent.
Yeah.
I'm sort of on a tangent. Let me get it out.
Get it out.
On the flip side, as more brokerages adopt this model, it's going to get really tricky because, well, let's say there's another company similar in size to Compass, okay? It's like, well, I want to have access to both of their private listings before they hit the public MLS. So then I guess the consumer is feeling like they have to choose an agent based on who has the heads up on what's coming soon.
Right. Or the consumers will start going to the Compass. It's not like the agent has to send that to the consumer. The consumer can go to Compass's website and see Compass's private listings.
Can they?
Can they not?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I think that is maybe where this problem is going.
Yeah.
If the consumer, regardless of if they even want to use an agent, are like, oh, well, I used to always go to Redfin. Redfin was the website I went to look at all my listings.
Yeah.
Redfin doesn't have all the listings. I got to go now to Compass, and then I got to go over to ABC Realty, and then I got to go over to whatever other brokerage. Zillow is not, at this point, as far as I understand, a brokerage, okay? So they're pulling a feed from the IDX, from the MLS, from the companies that are giving them the feed, right?
Right.
They're not, no consumer at that point is going to be like, well, I'll go to Zillow first. Zillow will almost be like, okay, this is the catch-all of whatever's left.
Right.
Like I had to go to all these other places first. So let's just kind of really quickly dive into a couple of things. This is what's happened recently. This is an article in January of 2026 about this lawsuit between Compass and Zillow, which is ongoing. They have produced a lot of discovery documents that just came out that were being basically read and researched, okay? So Zillow these are like internal documents from Zillow. Okay. Basically, this is saying that real estate listings are the lifeblood that allows Zillow to make money.
Yes.
Okay? They have to have the listings. And faced with the prospect that rule changes and brokerage shifts could lead to fewer listings on Zillow, they are prepared for a portal war.
Yes.
Okay, because Zillow
it's data wars.
Cannot lose the listings, all right? Now, here is what was gathered in these documents. Zillow decided to ban individual listings if they aren't shared in a place the portal can obtain and display within 1 business day. Okay.
So from the beginning.
Yeah, they were like, well,
if you were ever private,
we're not doing
We don't want to put you on our platform.
Okay, here is a quote from the Zillow CEO, Jeremy Waxman. He wrote in an internal message. This is all in the lawsuit discovery documents.
Okay.
In my head, we would have lined up a group of deals, say EXP, KW, Anywhere, and then jointly announced them and announced our stick plans, which the stick plan is telling them you can't be on Zillow if you ever go in the private, okay, or within a certain time. But given how fast things are moving, should we consider just announcing each deal as it comes? So as soon as we sign EXP, and that means sign EXP saying, I will give Zillow my listings, okay? We will announce it and our plans. Okay, so that message is part of a trove of documents filed last month as part of the ongoing lawsuit Compass filed against Zillow. There are tons of quotes about Zillow's business practices and sort of like how they're trying to deal with this and what their strategy plans are.
Yeah.
Okay. And the quote also from Zillow is, they are facing a war where we don't have many friends. Okay, so right, like I care if Zillow goes out of business.
Yeah, we don't care.
Don't care. But we do care as realtors about the consumer and the public.
If that is their preferred search platform, we want them to either have it or have something comparable that they enjoy using that makes it easy for them to find houses.
Right. And this war that we're in is not making the system better.
Right.
As far as a system goes.
Sure.
For the public.
Yeah.
Okay. Zillow also zeroed in on a strategy: strike direct listing agreements with brokerages and franchises, announce them, and hope to turn the tide on the private listing networks. So like, we'll approach EXP and KW and other big firms. And as we get them to sign off on giving them their listings, so many will be on that everyone will kind of have to follow suit. Mm-hmm. Okay. So by early April of 2025, EXP agreed to the partnership with Zillow. Okay, fine.
When they agreed, are they agreeing not to do any private exclusives?
Correct. They're agreeing to put their listings directly and immediately on.
No private sneak peeks in their app or anything?
No.
Okay.
Now, in return for signing these deals, we don't know specifically what the terms were, but it kind of goes through that Zillow would give them like access to Follow Up Boss for 3 years, or maybe we'll, send more of your agents through to like the Flex program, or like they were just like little treats and things. It's a deal.
Yeah,
it's a deal.
Yeah, what do you want?
It's a deal. So basically, that was the carrot part of their strategy. So the stick part is, you're in trouble. If you put yours on a private listing, you can't be on Zillow. And the carrot part was, if you sign your deal with us, we'll give you incremental product features for agents and brokerages. So we'll give you some extra stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, Errol Samuelson is the Zillow Chief Industry Development Officer.
Okay.
Samuelson noted in one message that there is a long-standing bad blood between Keller Williams and EXP. Okay. I just think this is so juicy, y'all.
It is.
Okay, so it's like such real estate drama. And his quote is, they'll want to neutralize any advantage that EXP may have. It was clear during my call with KW that they recognize the value in having more Flex teams. Flex is a Zillow program.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So basically, he's like, I'm going to get KW to sign off on giving me their listings because EXP already did. And they're in this battle for agents. And if they have agents that are already paying for Zillow leads at KW, they're not going to want those agents are going to go over to EXP if KW doesn't get on board.
Right.
It's sort of what he's saying here. Mm-hmm. Zillow executives hoped Anywhere would also—
Anywhere is a
huge conglomerate of agencies.
Yes.
Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens. Yeah.
It's a bunch of
Corcoran.
And it's confusing because their name is Anywhere.
Anywhere is the
and
name.
you think we're just being broad, like, Keller Williams,
Anywhere.
EXP, Anywhere.
It is Anywhere.
No, like Anywhere is also a name of
For instance, Coldwell Banker is an Anywhere.
Yeah, Anywhere is the name of a group of real estate companies.
In 2025, when these deals are being struck and EXP signed on the dotted line, they were in talks with Anywhere. Okay. Zillow executives hoped Anywhere would also sign a deal, which could then be announced and create the appearance of a snowball to gain momentum in the public eye and throughout the industry.
Yes.
But that deal didn't happen
because
Compass bought Anywhere.
I bet Zillow was angry about this.
So this is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
And it is billion-dollar, now what appears to be, in my mind, $2 billion corporations going toe-to-toe to try and win the bit, like, who gets more business, right? Okay, so Anywhere in that, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I think I understand what's going on, where is the consumer? Where do they come into play in this?
Yeah.
I mean,
do you want me to tell you?
I think I would like to hear. I think I would like to hear how the consumer comes into play.
I also feel a little nervous doing this episode because we're just like a light, friendly podcast. I don't want to ruffle feathers or get involved in like heated debates. I actually find this whole thing rather silly. I truly do. I think that if Zillow would have just backed off, like okay, there's pros and cons.
Let's hear it.
I don't think it's as big of a deal as they were making it. So,
they're the ones that are making there's a lawsuit.
I know.
It's not just...
It's gone so far.
It's gone very far.
I'm like, wow, they were really upset about this.
They're really into it.
And everybody, both sides, are trying to make the opposing team seem awful.
But also, nowhere in this lawsuit am I really hearing about the agents.
Yeah.
It's all about the listings.
Right.
This has nothing to do with consumers or agents. And if anyone tells you different, I would like to hear why.
Right.
Okay, carry on the pros and cons.
So, since it is about listings, that's what this is all about. The main thing, no matter what side you think is right, is that it's up to the consumer what they want.
Right.
The issue is that agents are not being completely transparent with explaining to their sellers the pros and cons of being private exclusive.
Or even what they are.
Or what they are. Coming soon, private exclusive, all these things. And so sellers trust us.
Yeah.
And they are going to take what we say as the truth. So we need to make sure that agents are telling the truth.
Yeah.
So while Zillow and Compass and EXP and KW and everybody else is fighting this lawsuit, Hustle Humbly would like to sneak in.
Yeah.
And just remind you that we are the agents and we need to be doing our best to inform our clients of what their options are.
Yeah.
And what their specific house may need and what would be best for them.
Okay.
A lot of times, here's an example. A brokerage says, okay, if you come to my brokerage, if you get a new listing, I'm making all this up. If you get a new listing, the first 2 weeks that it is ready to go, it will be in MLS only as an office exclusive or a private listing, which means you can only see it if you're an agent in our office. I just researched also while you were talking that the Compass private exclusive listings are not available to the public.
So only agents see them.
So the consumer cannot go to compass.com to look for houses and find something different.
Okay.
Which is why I struggled a bit to understand why Zillow felt so threatened. But then I realized Zillow doesn't care as much about the consumer.
No.
They want as many agents as possible paying to be on Zillow to get the consumer. But then,
that is the business model.
Yeah. So anywho. So, lost my train of thought a little bit.
Okay, well, in this fictitious, you're telling me this company has got the 2 weeks.
Okay, so the broker says the first 2 weeks, no one will see it except our office.
Okay.
And you're going to tell your sellers that this is in their best interest because we are going to test the market out. We're going to like privately see what we think about. This will allow us to push the price a little bit.
Right.
See how the market responds.
Right.
Maybe we can get a buyer early.
Yeah.
All of this, all that I hear, tell me if you hear different, is that the broker would like to keep it in-house and like double-side it somehow. I think there are some situations where this could be helpful.
Yeah.
But there are some situations where I think it's being present. I think that the fact that a broker could make it a requirement that all listings are office exclusive or private the first X amount of time is a disservice.
Right.
I don't think
it's not
it
letting
should
the
be,
consumer choose.
It's not letting the consumer choose.
Yeah.
It's the broker choosing and then the broker training their agents to explain to the consumer why this is better.
Yeah.
But it's a twisted version.
You.
It's a twisted version of the truth and doesn't show the other side of it as well.
Okay. I have read the talking point where the private exclusive or the coming soon, whatever, is good because it lets you test, let's say, a price. Lets you test the price or the condition or the whatever without being punished with days on the market.
Sure.
So maybe you want to go in high or maybe whatever, but you just want to see how the listing is responded to before it hits the public. Yeah. I have also read that almost always the listings don't sell during the private exclusive. They sell when they go out to the public.
So here is the stat from Compass.
Please.
50% of listings at Compass start as private exclusives.
Okay, half.
94% ultimately go to the public MLS.
Okay.
I would like to share just like my personal experience, sort of how it was presented to me.
Okay.
And how I have used it. And I haven't felt any kind of shady. It was presented to me as, it was so tricky before in our market because we couldn't sign listing papers until we were within 2 days of being ready to go on the market.
Right.
But the problem is you do all this work. You go on the listing appointment. You do the consultation. You get them the painter. You help them stage. You get the house ready. You may have even taken photos and nothing has really been signed to protect you.
Yeah.
And while they're prepping the house, the neighbor walks over and says, "Oh, are you moving?
Yeah,
well, I want to buy it." And then the seller calls you and says, "Hey, I'm so sorry. The neighbor bought the house.
I just sold the
Thanks for
house.
all your help."
Yeah.
And you're like,
no,
what?
I don't want to.
So it was sort of presented to me as you can go ahead and get your listing document signed. It goes into the private network.
Yeah.
There's, in my experience, and again, it's new in our market. What's going on right now for me, what I see, and I have 3 private listings. And here's why. They are not ready.
Yeah, they are preparing.
I did the listing agreement.
Yeah.
And they are prepping their house. I have no photos. If somebody calls me, the seller is not ready for a showing.
Yeah.
But to have this agreement signed, I do have to put it in the private network.
That's the rule of your office.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel much more protected.
Yes.
In advising them, consulting them, prepping them. Like I feel like I can deliver the pre-listing service confidently.
Yeah.
Because I know we already have a contract in place.
Yes.
I am not marketing the home.
Right.
I am not pushing it anywhere. I'm not making reels or posting about it on my socials.
Right. Because that would be public marketing, but there's no rule anymore.
I'm not 100% sure on that question.
Sorry.
But I just know that it's sort of like the holding space until they're ready.
Yes.
Which is why it makes sense to me that once you have photos and the house is show ready, let's get this baby active.
Right. Because that's where it sells.
Yeah, typically. And that's why I was actually kind of glad to see these reports. Now, I will say in the private network, I have all the prices elevated by about 10% of what we're actually going to list it for.
Why?
Just to see. because I'm reading all this stuff
You're
and I'm
like,
like, nobody knows. So there are a few agents in my office peeking in the private exclusives. And I have had agents email me and say, hey, I see you have this address as private exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
When will it be ready? Do you have any photos?
Yeah.
And I just tell them, hey, we're painting right now. We're prepping. This is some information about it. This is our timeline. And they're like, okay, cool. Well, I'll check back with you.
Did they make any mention of the price?
No.
Okay.
But it was a good, like, tester.
Sure.
Now, I do know that, I guess, some people, I don't want to use it this way, but some agents, the listing is ready. If we were in a market where the private network was being checked constantly,
yeah,
then you could have your professional photos on there. The listing is ready for showings. And then your office is like a feeding frenzy and people are going. I can't imagine this because that's not how it is because we're new.
Right.
But in other markets, you're getting showings on this listing at this price that you're sort of just testing out.
Yeah.
And then if it sells, awesome, you got more than you thought. And if it doesn't sell, you sort of see like a price correction.
Sure.
And then it goes to MLS and that begins your day on market.
Yeah.
So the day on market has been a huge topic of conversation in all of this private marketing because nobody wants a high day on market.
No.
So by testing the market, testing the price, it allows you to kind of get the feedback from the professionals on what do you think about that price, you know?
Yeah.
I am not in a position where we are big enough to do that in our market.
Yeah.
But I can see where that would make sense. But to me, once I have professional photos and it's ready, I want it on the market. And here's some stats also on why.
Okay.
The homes that actually sold on MLS versus the homes that sold within a private app, a private network.
Mm-hmm.
The MLS homes sold for about 18.5% more. It was about $302,000 average. And I don't know how they came up with these numbers.
Why do you think that is?
I think because once you list it on the MLS, your buyer pool is way bigger.
So there were more multiple offers.
You have more lookers.
It probably went
supply
over
and
list.
demand.
That's
maybe.
over. Okay, so it's going over list.
No, it's saying that the same house, if it was $100,000, on the private network, it sold for $100,000. It sold for $100,000, but on the MLS, it might have sold for $120,000, or maybe they had to come off of them. I don't know.
How does that work? The only way that makes sense to me. Tell me how that would work.
You know how in the NAR buyer-seller report we did?
Yeah.
When they say homes that sold for sale by owner versus listed with an agent sold however many percent higher or lower.
Yes.
Same situation. They're saying the homes that were listed in MLS sold 18% higher than the average of the homes that sold in the private networks.
Okay. So the ones that sold before they hit the market sold for less. So why would you want to put your listing in there and sell it for less?
Right. That's the argument. These are the people who are against it.
Clearly.
This is their argument.
They have stats to go with it.
Yeah.
Fair.
They have argument that by not allowing the listing to be to the public, you are risking losing money on the table.
Yeah.
When I'm helping a seller stage their house, if you're on YouTube, you can watch my little hand motion.
Okay.
I always tell them, let's say I'm trying to explain to them why they need to paint their pink walls.
Okay.
I hold up my hands in a circle and I say, this is the normal buyer pool.
Right.
For a normal, neutral house.
Like you. Like your home, but neutral.
Anytime there is something unique about a house or different about a house, the buyer pool gets a little smaller, which is okay. But my job is to see how can we make your house appeal to the biggest number of buyers in hopes of getting it sold for the most money in the quickest amount of time. So that's why we are going to paint your walls to prevent anybody who doesn't like the color pink.
Yeah.
It's going to make your buyer pool a little bit bigger. similar situation.
Right.
Like the buyer pool is only so big or so small depending on where you are marketing it.
Yeah.
But again, this needs to go back to explaining to the consumer what their options are and why, so that they can make the choice on what is it that they want.
Handing a seller a wordy legal document can feel intimidating. Transparency makes it easier and more professional.
Add your own voice and present confidently with our listing agreement cover letter, created to accompany your listing agreement and help sellers clearly understand what they're signing and the value you bring.
This easy-to-follow letter outlines how you'll serve your sellers, your marketing plan to get their home sold, clear transparency around how you get paid, and a confident call to action to sign the listing agreement.
It's everything your sellers need to feel informed, comfortable, and ready to move forward.
Grab yours today at hustlehumblypodcast.com/listing.
Cheers to clarity, confidence, and smoother listing conversations.
Okay.
People have reasons for wanting to be private.
Tell me them.
There were some like elderly people that don't want a huge amount of people, or not just elderly. They said elderly because there's a huge population of sellers who are vacating their home to either go to assisted living or something like that. And they're just not ready to have like the public come into their home. They sort of want to do it at a slower pace, and maybe they're okay with less exposure. And then if at some point they need to amp it up, they can go to the MLS. Like they just kind of want to like ease it in. People have different situations.
Okay.
So it's really just about like, what is their choice? What do they want to do? Do they understand that the brokerage that is putting it in a private network, you're not really
maybe getting them 18.6% less for their home.
Or do they know that you're not really marketing it because you can't, because it's not to the public?
Right.
And are you okay with that? Do you understand that? Are you okay with that?
Right. There's a section on our listing agreement, it's been there forever, where the seller has to check off the box and initial if they don't want their listing marketed to the public or put on any website.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had anyone check the box.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that it might be something a particular situation would warrant.
Yeah.
It would make your job a little bit trickier as an agent to actually find a way to get people into that house.
Yeah.
I just am not sure, like, what is the actual percentage of people that need that service out of all the sellers?
I have one right now where it's a really sad situation.
Oh, no.
And it's an elderly couple, and they're really sweet. And husband is sort of taking care of wife who she is there physically, but that's about it,
Okay.
And he is working on moving them both into an assisted living situation. They don't have any family here. And he's like, I cannot prep this house for the market.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, but time is sort of the essence.
Yeah.
Because I have to start paying once we move in. I clearly cannot allow showings while we are here because you see the situation. I need to get us out. But I would like to start putting some feelers out there.
Sure.
To see, like, can somebody just come by it, sort of? Like a as-is situation. Like, I know it's older. And I thought they were the perfect candidate for something like this.
Sure.
And after the NAR buyer and seller report, where we are hearing that it is the older generation making the majority of the moves right now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the first elderly couple I've worked with where I've had a situation like this.
Yeah.
I've had situations with divorce where there is one of the spouses still living in the house and we're having a hard time.
Yeah.
Who knows what it could be?
Right.
But the whole point is, what is in the best interest of the client? And the only person that can decide that is the client.
Correct.
Not the agent, not the brokerage.
Right.
That is where I don't really have a problem with what listings go on Zillow, where they go, this or that. I have a problem with agents and brokers interjecting themselves where they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And giving misleading information for their own benefit. which is not the benefit of the consumer.
Correct. Okay, well, great. And good news. I don't care if Zillow has a single listing on there. They mean nothing to me. I don't care if they shut it down tomorrow.
Yeah.
I also don't care if any brokerage has a private listing network. I don't want to be part of, I feel like as an independent agent who has their own little business, who I'm running at technically a very small independent brokerage, I don't like being tossed around in the rules environment of these big multi-billion-dollar corporations who are fighting over stuff that doesn't take into account, right, what's happening to me, the small agent, and my consumer, right? Like I got no side, but I will tell you who is going to take a side, and that is the state of Washington.
Okay.
Because the state of Washington has now, in January of 2026, introduced a bill that is going to be filed publicly in the Washington State Legislature. Did you hear about this?
I did.
Okay. The Washington Realtors, so the Realtors organization in Washington, said that it is supporting this piece of legislation that would restrict the use of private listing networks in the state. The bill would amend existing state law relating to license law and unfair practices, and it would require brokers to market properties to the broader public rather than a limited or exclusive group of prospective buyers.
Yes.
Okay. The Washington Realtors said it is the organization's goal of making the state the most consumer-friendly place to buy and sell real estate. That is their goal of this.
And that's what all of our goal
piece
should
of
be.
Legislation.
The consumer ease should be our goal.
The attorney with I think Washington Realtors said the brokers who currently use private listing networks can continue to do so long as the property is also marketed publicly. They're like, you can keep it in your private network, but you have to, what they're saying is you can't just have it there.
They were also saying like it could be as simple as putting it on your website. And that's where I think Zillow could be like, eek! Because now what Washington is doing is saying, if it can be visible to one person, it needs to be visible to the other person.
Yeah.
So one buyer from over here and another buyer from over here should be able to go to the same website
and we want to find it all
and at least see it.
Okay. And the quote from one of the local presidents of Windermere Real Estate in Washington said, with very few exceptions, sellers want and deserve transparency.
Yeah.
Broad exposure and confidence that they're receiving the strongest possible offers for their home. Oh, and he says only open markets can deliver that.
That is true. Only open markets can deliver the most exposure.
Yeah.
Which is the way to get sort of the highest price. And in fact, I don't know if you saw, Wisconsin and Illinois are going to adopt the same bill that Washington is doing.
Yeah, I did read that Wisconsin, but not Illinois. And it makes sense, though. And the next thing he said, Jacoby, our industry should be built on service to consumers, not their exploitation. And we should all be supportive of consumer protection measures like this. Now, of course, Compass is not happy about this because Compass has a very active market in Washington State and with a big private listing network. And coincidentally, Zillow is based in Washington State.
Oh,
okay.
Great.
Shocker.
So how are they responding to this?
Shocker. It said Zillow's rule has also become a point of debate and in some cases conflict in such markets as Chicago and San Antonio, where private listing networks are broadly used and allowed by the MLS, but don't comply with the portals policy. So when Zillow starts making these rules saying you got to put everything in here, or Compass says you got to put them in my private listing network if you're a Compass agent. Places like Chicago, we were floored by this. When we went to Chicago in December, we did not know and learned from the local broker there that they have a very thriving private listing network.
And coming soon. A lot of coming soon.
Where all agents from all different brokerages are putting their listings in this private network and then eventually going to the MLS.
Yeah.
Okay. So they were having some pushback, I think, because they were worried about being forced out of that private network in the event that they were maybe a Coldwell Banker agent that then was bought by Compass.
Sure.
They're like, what if I can't this is how we've done it forever and ever.
Yeah.
But what you're now saying to me is that Illinois is doing the same legislation, which would
and
get rid of this
Wisconsin.
regardless.
Yeah, and Illinois, Wisconsin, and Washington all said the goal had nothing to do with platform control.
Right.
We are not trying to push or support a platform, a brokerage. We are making it our goal that there is consumer awareness and transparency.
Yes.
The end.
Yes.
We don't want anything else.
No.
And if you are doing that, then it's fine.
Right.
And you know what else I thought was interesting? Despite all of this back and forth on am I putting it in the MLS or am I not? In 2025, the MLS usage actually increased to 84%.
Yeah.
Up from 79% 3 years ago.
Of properties listed with an agent?
MLS usage. So the number of, it just said MLS usage increased from 79% in 2022.
I guess I'm wondering if that correlates to the fact that, is it all listings that sold this percent was on the MLS, or is it
I took that stat out of an article I read, and I don't have the full article with me.
I wondered if it's because, like, when we did the NAR report, it's telling us that more, like, 91% of homes are listed by an agent.
Yeah.
Is it going up because more homes are listed, or is it going up? Okay, sorry. I won't dig further into that. I do want to mention one comment that I read on this article about the Washington bill, which obviously is just a proposed bill. It hasn't been voted on yet.
Yeah, they're fighting.
But someone in the comments did say, I don't really like this either, because now the state is telling me how I have to market my property.
Yeah.
But the problem is that we're not addressing the real issue, which you keep coming back to, which is client education is the problem. But if you're telling me that we're not willing to trust or can find a way to force the education on the seller, then I guess we'll just force them all into the same public portal so that everyone can see all the listings.
Yeah.
I mean, it is quite the mess.
Yeah. There were a few other points of argument on the cons list. And some of it had to do with, appraisal data.
Yeah.
Appraisers use MLS to appraise other homes. And it's, my dad's an appraiser, and he has experienced this a lot in the last 2 years, where he is trying to appraise like a unique property, a high-end property, and there's no comps, but the neighbors, the sellers, like my neighbor, all these houses that
have sold,
and we can't find the data.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah.
It sort of distorts housing data, and it affects public trust. But the biggest thing too, which we kind of have skimmed over a little bit.
Let's hear.
But the fact that one buyer can see a house and another buyer can't see a house is a fair housing nightmare.
100%.
And those lawsuits are about to start happening for sure. If you are being selective on which buyers can see the houses for sale.
This is the problem. There was no problem with the system.
There wasn't. No.
That's what's so frustrating as an agent.
My problem with the system was protecting myself in the pre-listing,
I agree, but there were lots of markets, unlike ours, that would allow you to do
to have something signed to protect yourself. There was definitely a better way to do that.
Agreed. 100% agree on that. But fracturing out where the public finds the listings is just going to make it so difficult.
Yes.
So difficult for the consumer, so difficult for the agent. What if I'm like, how upset you're about? Let's just give a fake situation. Here I am at my little sweet independent brokerage, and I have a buyer who I love. Let's just say it's my sister.
Okay.
My sister is so excited. She wants to buy a house in this very sought after neighborhood. I am on the lookout. I'm asking around. I'm putting in the Facebook groups. I'm getting the immediate notification from my MLS as soon as something hits the market. And then all of a sudden, my sister calls me in tears because her friend just told her that her other friend bought a house in the neighborhood where she wanted to live. And guess what? That house was never on the market because it was in some private network or some coming soon or some off-market website from some other company. And they found out that way from their agent. And now I'm the sucky agent who couldn't find her the house.
I am actually struggling with a very similar situation right now because I have a buyer with a very specific need on a very specific time frame, and we are not finding what we need to find in MLS. And there's a piece of me that wants to reach out to some brokerages who I know are private, making their listings private for the first amount of time. And I want to on the behalf of my client, but I'm sort of upset that I even have to. That I have to reach out to them to be like, do you have listings? Do you have
a little beggar at the door?
Yes.
Can you help me, please?
That's how I feel.
And
it's a pride thing a little bit, I guess.
Do you have the listings?
I also don't so some of the agents that have been selling things off market and in a private manner and marketing them quote unquote in-house also love to make social media posts about how this house never had to go on the market. We sold it off market.
You never put it on the market.
My brokerage is amazing. This is what we do. But to me, that screams the public cannot trust you.
Well, you're keeping it to yourself.
You're being selfish and greedy. So it's sort of like a bullying tactic.
No part of me believes that you get a better price for your house off market if you're having it coming soon, if you're listing it. I don't mean me going to knock on a door that isn't for sale.
Right.
That surely will get a premium. But no part of me believes that you get a better price for your home if you put it in a coming soon, private listing, whatever, than the open market where all the buyers can see it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just don't. It's supply and demand.
The top issues are that if you have a listing, photos are done. It's ready for showings. Let the showings begin. If you choose not to let everyone see it at that point, you are eroding trust. And you can't say you're not, because I don't trust the brokerage that's doing that. That's hiding things, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I already have feels.
And it's not like jealousy. It's like literally I'm just trying to do my job.
I'm trying to help this client find this house.
I already have the signed client. My signed buyer. They're mine.
Exactly.
Just let me sell them a house.
And then so you're eroding public trust. Yeah. You're prioritizing double-ending transactions to benefit the brokerage more than your clients.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to if that's your business model.
Yeah.
It's different if you are being private exclusive or private whatever for a certain reason, a tester, but to mandate that all of the listings at ABC company must be private. And that is where
that's not giving
any
consumer a choice or the agent a choice.
Nobody has a choice.
I mean, I guess the agent can go to another brokerage.
Yeah.
Guess I'll leave. You had a section that was definitions, okay, of our notes and we did all of them. Private off-market listings, office exclusive is a listing shared internally within a brokerage without public marketing, coming soon pre-marketing, and then public listing. Those were the definitions.
Okay, so a private off MLS listing is a property marketed outside of the MLS. This is often within a brokerage or an invitation-only network.
Okay.
Then you have office exclusive, which is a listing shared internally with a brokerage. No public marketing. Then you have coming soon or pre-marketing, which is marketing a property before it officially goes live on MLS. This is new in our market, the actual status.
Yeah, you could do it into the MLS as a coming soon.
I have a story.
Okay.
And then public listing is a property marketed openly and entered into the MLS for the broadest exposure.
Okay. Before your story, tell me what happened to this term. Because you don't hear it anymore.
Oh.
Pocket listings.
Oh.
Do you remember the term?
It was like
the biggest no-no of all the no-nos was a pocket listing. And a pocket listing was you have a listing that you're not advertising in any way, but you could maybe someone comes along and be like, oh yeah, I have that. I got that.
Yeah, I'll help you.
Like a little backdoor deal vibes.
And you open your jacket to reveal all the watches.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And the pocket listings, once they got, there have been phases, but they go through popularity and they got really, I think that's where clear cooperation came from.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't have this broker trying to hoard over these, pocket listings without there being an agreement or put on the MLS or out for public. How is this any different?
It's not.
Why are we suddenly not using the word pocket? I'm sure I'm missing some nuance here and someone's going to message me. But what truly is the difference between a pocket listing and a private listing?
It's about all the same. We're just talking about it now. Before you couldn't even say pocket
You couldn't
listing.
even, because you would have gotten into some sort of trouble that was finable, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, an activity that before was finable, and a finable offense is like, we're all going to do it?
Yeah. Pretty
Hello?
much. Mm-hmm.
Like, I just cannot. When I was reading, I was like, you know what? No one ever says anymore. Pocket listing. Now tell me your story about coming soon.
Well, we have it new in our market, so this would probably be a boring story to every other market who's had this forever. But a listing came on the market. It was a very high-end, very unique, sought-after house. It hit the MLS, but it was coming soon. It was my first time to see this as a status.
Okay.
And one of my dear friends was the listing agent.
Okay.
So I was like,
Great.
I didn't understand at first. So I just texted her and was like, oh my gosh, when can I get in? Can I get in tomorrow? And she said, no, I actually cannot let you in early or I will get fined $1,500. And I went, wow, thank you for your transparency. What do I do? She said, showings will be, showing time is blocked off.
Mm-hmm.
You can schedule the first appointment at noon on Wednesday.
Okay.
So beginning then is when showing time will allow you to schedule. So I go in and there was already a few showings on Wednesday. So I had to pick a different time.
Some pent up demand.
And I will say, I enjoyed this experience.
Okay.
So this was on a Sunday and showings began on Wednesday, but it
Okay.
was in the MLS.
Mhm.
It had photos, like ready to go. So I told my buyer, I said, listen, I see that there's a lot of showings. We have a few days. Good news. No one else can see it. Now, I guess people could make offers sight unseen.
Sure.
But I said, you have a minute to take a breath
Yeah.
and get your financing together and be ready
Yeah.
to jump. Because
Yeah.
I think you're going to like it. Sure enough, she did that. She had plan A, B, and C all ready to go. We go see it. We wait in line. And I'm like, what is this, COVID again?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? So then we make an offer. It is a multiple offer situation. We win.
Oh, yay.
We did have to go over. Like, we fought for it. But I thought to myself, wow, that was really smart on the listing agent's part to do it. But it was on MLS. It was to the public. Everybody could see it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really smart. And then I was thinking maybe I could do that for one of my listings that I had coming up. But my worst case scenario brain was like, what if I do this? And then no one schedules.
Well, I mean, no one would know.
I know. I would know. And I know how that one went. Like, it
Yeah.
went so, there was hype. People were talking about it.
Right.
They were preparing. There was anticipation.
Yeah, I love this theory behind a coming soon marketing.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
If it's a 3-day, 1 week period.
Yes.
Where everyone knows it's coming soon, though. That's the other thing.
Yes. They know it's coming.
It wasn't a hidden. It wasn't a pocket. It wasn't a private. It's publicly known that this is coming soon.
Yeah.
Everyone can get in line on the Wednesday when it goes active.
Right.
I love that because it also keeps your seller from doing one showing. Let's just build them all up to the first day that we're doing showings.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen it online at this point. Now they can all go do the showings.
Right.
I actually really like that
Yeah.
as a marketing method.
Me too. It was a good marketing method.
Yeah.
And I got to see it play out from beginning to
Mhm.
end. And it was the best case scenario for how it could have gone.
For the seller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other parts of this that you feel like still need to be explained?
Probably.
I know that there's so much nuance to it because every market is so different.
Yes.
And some have been structured a certain way for a long time, like Chicago.
Yeah.
And I'm sure no one likes to be told what to do.
Right.
Like, if you're like, this system's working, if it ain't broke, don't
Specifically,
fix it.
The client.
Yeah, well,
They don't want to be told what to do. They want to be presented their options.
They want to be given the options. I am still waiting for someone to truly turn my mind on your seller does better not going into a public market.
Right.
I mean, yes, in a very specific instance of a person who doesn't want people to know their address. Maybe it's a safety concern. Maybe it's like a health concern. But I can't just
those
think
are specific situations.
I just can't think that the general normal real estate transaction needs to be hidden.
No. The former president of the Greater Baltimore Board of Realtors had a good quote.
Okay.
He said, if everyone starts putting things in private listing networks, it's going to be an absolute mess and disaster, which is not consumer friendly. It reduces exposure for sellers and reduces the ability of the buyer to even find a house.
Right. And it's already hard enough to find a house.
Not to, always go back to he's just not that into you. But she's like, he's just not answering. And she's like, well, have you tried texting him? She's like, I've called. I've texted. I messaged him on his BlackBerry, then went to his cell. I've done mail and snail mail and voicemail. And I can't connect. And it's like, that's how.
There's too many channels.
There's too many channels.
If there's only one way to connect, then we would be connected.
Hey, I think that's called the MLS.
Yeah, I know. Which is not without its,
Flaws. Yeah, for sure.
But at least it was a system that everyone was using, albeit in some cases by force.
Yeah.
I do think that it was helpful. I just can't imagine, y'all, I might retire. If they're just like, you have to go to 10 different places to find listings.
Oh, that'd be so sad.
I know.
I did hear, I think like Compass and maybe someone else is even starting the listing book again. And I'm like, what a way. Can we
Compass.
not?
Yeah, a physical book.
No.
A listing book.
No, we have evolved from that.
We evolved.
We don't need to go backwards.
Look, it's like, is there nothing left to be invented?
Right.
We had to go back to the old way.
They're like, how about this? It's called a book.
Right. You have to come into the office to see the listings.
No, please
and make
no.
photocopies.
Please no.
No, it's no good. We just want to make it easy and simple.
So,
and no.
Well, hustle humbly, friends. Just be good people. Don't get greedy.
Right.
Do what's best for your client.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you are not in a brokerage that is putting you in a position that you feel icky or like you're compromising your ethics.
Right. You just have to filter what you do through the questions of, is this truly in the best interest of my client? And does my client truly understand what I am doing for them?
That is perfect.
That's it. Like, if it's not in their best interest and they don't even understand what you're doing for a buyer or a seller, for the record, then you're not serving your client.
Yeah.
You're not doing your fiduciary duties.
No.
It's really that simple.
I enjoyed this discussion.
I love a good lawsuit discussion.
Yeah, that was good.
I just feel it is good.
Good discussion.
I feel like I'm just being swung around in the wind. Like, as an agent, as an individual agent, I just hate feeling like I'm at the mercy of what these other systems and things are like. You know what I mean? Like, I just want it to be easy.
And it can be.
It is currently.
And if you don't like where you're at or you're having rules forced upon you that you don't agree with, you don't have to stay there.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
You got to really think it through though.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just take the word for it.
Yeah, do the research.
Yeah.
This was good.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming. I think we have a problem, friends.
Are we out of toast?
We may be out of toast. So if after I stop talking, you don't hear a toast, that means it's time for you to send in a toast.
Yeah.
Go to team@hustlehumblypodcast.com. Send us an email, ideally with a little voice note toast or even a video if you're feeling, extra special. Or if you don't want to do it that way, we would love a video.
Mm-hmm.
Second to that would be an audio note so we can put your voice on the show. Lastly, if you're not comfortable with either of those things but really want to toast someone, just type it out and we'll read it.
Yeah.
But we need the toast.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Perfect.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.